What's going on, everyone? I'm Sir James from Gamerfuzion.com, and I'm here to give you my review on Metro Last Light. Now, Metro Last Light is a hugely anticipated sequel to the Metro 2033. As Optium, you hold the key to our survival, the last light to our darkest hour. Now, let me go ahead and talk a little bit about the story without giving too much spoilers. Now, in the game, obviously, you're playing as Optium. The game is taking place after the events of Metro 2033, where you had nuked what you thought was all the Dark Ones. You end up finding out from a friend of yours that a Dark One has been spotted, a survivor from the nuclear blast from the last game. You end up, you're sent on a mission from the Order to eliminate the Dark One, but then in the end, you find out this Dark One is actually a key to what's about to happen later on in the game. And as you progress later on in the game, you end up being captured by these Nazis protagonists, and then you end up the survivor that you're helping to get out of it, because he's forming an alliance with you, all for one for all musketeer type of situation. You end up finding out that he's a key to what's about to happen later on in the game. So like a whole bunch of stuff happens, and that's as much as I'm going to give you without providing too much spoilers for you guys. Now let me go ahead and talk about the graphics. The graphics in this game are great, whether you're playing on the PC or console. Overall, the graphics are outstanding, from the different details of the metro stations you visit, from the outside world upon on the surface, the tunnels, everything. So much detail has been put into this game, it's actually amazing. There's even quite a few moments in the game that stood out top notch. I was like, wow, that is just beautiful, and I can't believe that was actually in the game. So overall, the graphics are outstanding, whether you're playing on the console or the PC. As for the gameplay is pretty much exactly like you've seen in Metro 2033, but instead have been improved a lot. So whatever issues that you had with the gameplay from the original game have been improved and fixed on the second one, which is great, such as the weapon control, stealth, and so much more have been improved in it, which is a huge plus for this game. Now, of course, one of my personal favorites is the stealth option in this game. Like, when you're performing stealth, you're able to do, obviously stealth kills. You're able to knock the enemy out instead if you don't want to kill them. And of course, where there's different sections where they have lanterns or light bulbs that you unscrew or you blow out the lantern, and so much more, providing a whole new stealth elements to this game. Now, you can't play stealth in terms of from start to finish, but I would say about 80 or 85% of the game, when you're in the metro stations facing against other factions, you can choose to play with stealth. So if you prefer stealth, you do have that option to do it. If you prefer to run a gun, you have that option to do it, or you can mix and match whatever preference you're into. I like the fact that you have different options to play the game, which is really cool. And of course, the same mechanics obviously on the surface. On the surface, obviously, you need filters to continue on your quest. If you don't have filters, then you're gonna end up dying because of the dangerous gas and radiation upon the surface. I remember on the original, ammunition and filters were really hard to come by. And this one, towards the end of the game, I basically never ran out of ammunition unless if you're playing in Ranger mode. And filters were pretty easy to find, especially on the surface. There's a lot of dead bodies, corpses, or even the people that you're looting in the metro station or in the little train race segment as well. You're going to find a lot of filters. The maximum you can carry is up to about 60 minutes of filter time. So that's a lot of filters, and you're never going to run out no matter what. Obviously, you have the special watch where it'll beep at a certain amount of time where it's going to tell you to change your filter. Otherwise, you're going to start suffocating and all that fun stuff. So overall, the gameplay is great, huge improvement from the original. So if you're like I said, if you had any issues with the gameplay from the original, it has been fixed in this one. So overall, gameplay is a huge plus for this game.
Well, Moskvin wasn't bullshitting this time. The red line's advancing on 3 sides. My brothers in arms, I am not a man for speeches, but here it is. You are the most dedicated, most courageous soldiers in the Metro. Each of you is worth 5 reds. If you simply do the job you were trained to do, we'll win this battle. Sparta, to battle! Sparta!
As for the sound of this game is top notch. It actually draws you into this game, which is really cool, especially parts where you're on the surface where things are about to happen, or when you're eavesdropping on people's conversation of what's going on around you. Really fills out this game quite a bit. One of the things I do recommend in this game is eavesdropping on everyone's conversation in this game. Explore every little detail in this game, because it tells more of the story. It makes you feel part of that world which is great. And there's been, there's like quite a few emotional segments as well. It's like, wow, that's like really touching. For example, there's this one child who was asking her father, it's like, where's mommy? And these people were in these quarantine sections. Obviously, the people in the quarantine sections were not going to make it and are slowly dying. The dad was like, mommy's home, baby, mommy's home. And then she asked, when can we see her again? He's like, we'll be home soon. You see them hugging. You could tell by the sound of his voice that he's getting emotional and deeply sad. You feel for that. It's like, wow, that's really deep and emotional, which is cool that's in there. So, which is cool like that. And other moments where you're on the surface, or like, oh, a hell's about to break loose, or you're just in this creepy environment. It's like, well, what the hell's going on? Then you hear like the sound effects from the creatures in the distance, and then the creepy music kicks in. It's like, wow, I'm kind of getting creeped out here. What the hell's about to happen? I'm all alone. But the sound effect, like I said, is great in this game. You feel like you're part of that world, and is top notch altogether. As for the lifespan, this game has a great lifespan. There's so many stories to be told in the game, the wide variety of difficulties to choose from, easy, medium, hard, and ranger mode. They advertised ranger mode as the mode this game is meant to be played. Now, for those of you who never did get the limited edition or never pre-ordered, I do want to let you guys know that ranger mode is a $5 DLC, which was already on the disc, but it was ripped out as a pre-order incentive, which is kind of a downside. There's also collectibles in the game, and of course different ways you want to play the game. If you want to choose to rescue certain people, to choose to play stealth, no stealth, a mixture of both. And of course there's also 2 different endings for this game depending on the choices that you make later on, which is pretty cool. So the lifespan is great for this game, and one that I would recommend. As for the innovative, they took what they already had and made huge improvements to this one, which in the end I'm going to give Metro Last Light a 9.5 out of 10. This game has great graphics, story, and so much more this game has to offer. Anyways, if you guys want to check out the full walkthrough, you can check it out over at Gamerfuzion.com. Anyways, I'm Sir James, and remember, Gamerfuzion empowers your gaming.